The moment you utter a word to justify yourself, you have conceded defeat. Imagine this: an accusation surfaces, perhaps a veiled criticism at a social gathering or a doubt cast upon your capabilities. You feel a physical surge of heat, your stress hormones spike, and your mind urges you to immediately clarify, to correct the narrative, to set the record straight. You explain, you elaborate, you provide context, you pull up text messages or reference past events. In that very instant, you expose your vulnerability. The world does not evaluate you based on the accuracy of your statements, but on the perceived desperation of your delivery. Those who feel compelled to explain are essentially surrendering. Those who defend themselves implicitly acknowledge the other's authority to pass judgment upon them. Niccolò Machiavelli recognized a harsh reality. True power isn't about being factually correct, but about controlling the narrative. By choosing to defend yourself, you step into the opposing framework, becoming the accused in their self-made tribunal. But what if you chose a different path? What if, when confronted, you adopted a strategy that unnerves manipulators more than anything else? Many navigate life as emotional automatons. A disapproving glance prompts an apology. An accusation leads to an explanation. They exist in a perpetual state of defensive reaction, begging to be understood. This is a soul-crushing existence. However, an alternative exists: engaging with the world with detachment and an impenetrable psychological shield. This is not about arrogance, but a fundamental reorientation of where you draw your sense of reality. Why is your immediate impulse to present evidence of your innocence? This originates in childhood. Recall when you were 5 years old and faced an accusation. How did you avoid punishment? Through explanation. I didn't break it, it fell. You learned that authority figures wield the power of judgment and that your safety depended on convincing them of your good character. The issue is that while you've matured, your psyche hasn't. You project these authority figures onto everyone you encounter: your employer, your partner, even adversaries. When you defend yourself, you subconsciously communicate: you are the judge, I am the child. Please grant my plea so I can feel secure once more. This emanates weakness. Humans, in their primal nature, detect this scent of submission from a distance. Machiavelli noted, "It is much safer to be feared than loved." Translating this to modern interaction, it is far more advantageous to be respected than understood. When you rush to defend yourself, you prioritize being understood over being respected. However, a monarch does not justify their decree to a commoner, nor does a lion explain its hunt to a gazelle. The moment you begin to ramble or offer justifications, you signal that your internal equilibrium hinges on their agreement. You've handed them the keys to your sanctuary. You cling to the belief that if you articulate your position clearly enough, they will concede. But the accusation was rarely about facts. It was about power. They didn't accuse you to uncover the truth, but to observe your reaction, and you complied. The initial step toward becoming impervious is recognizing that the courtroom is an illusion. There is no judge, no jury, only you and your perception of reality. When you cease treating others as arbiters, their accusations lose their sting, transforming into mere opinions, which are just noise. So, what occurs when you refrain from reacting? Envision this. Someone levels a sharp verbal barb. The old you might retort, "No, that's not true. I did this for you." Now, consider the Machiavellian approach. They declare, "You are being incredibly selfish right now." You meet their gaze, maintain unwavering eye contact, and do not blink. You allow the silence to persist for 4 seconds. Do you comprehend what transpires in that silence? It is a psychological void. The human mind experiences profound unease during silence within a conflict. By remaining silent, you mirror their energy back to them, compelling them to confront the tension they created. Typically, they will falter. They will speak again to fill the void. "I mean, you're not always selfish, but just right now." They start to defend themselves against your silence. The power has shifted. This is the gray rock method elevated to a weapon. A void cannot be attacked. You cannot punch mist. By refusing resistance, you allow their assault to pass through you harmlessly. Occasionally, silence is insufficient. At times, words are necessary, but never defensive ones. If you must speak, do not resist the force. redirect it. Employ the aikido of conversation. There exists a concept in dark psychology known as agree and amplify. If someone levels an absurd accusation, defending yourself validates it. Instead, embrace it. Exaggerate it to caricature. Attacker: you are so obsessed with money. You're greedy. Defensive response: no, I'm not. I just want to provide for my family. Weak. Machiavellian response: you've caught me. I actually swim in a vault of gold coins like Scrooge McDuck every Tuesday. It's terrible for my back. Deliver this with a deadpan expression. What have you achieved? You've refused to be insulted. You transformed their serious attack into a jest. You established that you control the narrative. It signals amused mastery, the pinnacle of high status. It's the demeanor of a parent observing a child's tantrum, not anger, but amusement. Robert Greene, in The 48 Laws of Power, discusses Law 25, recreate yourself. Crucial to this is rejecting the identity others impose on you. When they label you, they aim to confine you in a box. If you struggle against the box, you remain entangled. If you mock the box, you dissolve it. Attacker: you don't care about anyone but yourself. You: I'm working on it. I'll add you to the list of people I care about next year. This is savage, dismissive, and attractive because it signifies wholeness. You do not require their affirmation. A generous person laughs when called stingy. If you feel compelled to defend yourself, it's because deep down you fear they might be right. Let's delve deeper into the metastructure of conversation. In a conflict, there is a judge and a defendant. The judge asks, "Why did you do that? What were you thinking?" The defendant answers. The one answering is losing status. The most devastating Machiavellian stratagem is to refuse the role of defendant and seize that of the judge. Respond to a question with another question or by analyzing their behavior. Them: why are you always so late? Defensive you: there was traffic, my alarm didn't go off. Machiavellian you: why does my arrival time affect your mood so profoundly? Boom. The focus shifts from the clock to their emotional state. You've redirected the spotlight. Them: you're being ridiculous. Machiavellian you: what leads you to feel the need to employ labels like that? You are psychoanalyzing them in real time. This is maddening for a manipulator. They anticipate defense. Instead, you are observing them like a specimen under a microscope. You are setting a verbal force field. This is your issue, not mine. Keep it. This is more than a technique. It's a spiritual stance. It's the realization that others' perceptions are irrelevant to your reality. Their anger is their responsibility to manage. When you defend yourself, you attempt to bear their emotional burden. Cease this. Now, for the paradox. Sometimes the most power-shifting move is to agree. This is the fogging technique. When you hurl a rock into a fog bank, nothing happens. When you agree with an aggressor, you steal their momentum. They desire resistance. Resistance validates their anger. Agreement neutralizes it. The nuance is agree with the truth without accepting the shame. Admit the error, reject the character assassination. Accuser: you messed up this report. You're incompetent. Defense: I'm not incompetent. The data was flawed. Power move: you are right. The report contains errors. I will correct it. Notice the omission. You did not address incompetent. You ignored the insult and focused on the fact. You took ownership of the action, not the identity. Only someone secure in their competence can readily admit a mistake. Machiavelli would term this disarming the enemy. If you lay down your sword, they appear foolish holding theirs. None of this works if it's merely a tactic. If your voice trembles, it fails. Dark psychology is 20% words and 80% nonverbal framework. Why does it hurt when you are attacked? Because they touch an existing wound. If I told you that you had green skin, you wouldn't get angry, you'd laugh. But if I claim you are a failure and you react defensively, it's because a part of you suspects it might be true. The ultimate defense is self-awareness. It involves confronting your own darkness. When you know you are capable of selfishness and someone calls you selfish, you can respond, sometimes, yes. You cannot shame someone who has already accepted themselves. You become transparent. Arrows pass through. You are no longer a fortress requiring defense. You are the wind. Here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, play the no defense game. Regardless of what transpires, you are forbidden from explaining yourself. If you are late, simply state, "I am late." Do not offer a reason. If you spill coffee, say, "I spilled the coffee." Do not blame the cup. If someone misunderstands you, allow them to. Sit with the discomfort. Feel the urge to rectify it, to manage their perception, and let that urge incinerate into ash. Witness how they respond when you cease playing their game. You will see confusion, then respect, then a peculiar magnetism. People are drawn to certainty, and nothing conveys certainty like someone who does not feel the need to justify their existence. You are reclaiming your energy. You are sealing the leaks in your soul. You are transitioning from the child to the sovereign. The world will attempt to bait you. It thrives on reactions. Do not provide one. Maintain your mystery. Preserve your power. Hold on to your silence. If this philosophy resonates with the deeper, more shadowed aspects of your mind, then you know what action to take. Subscribe, but not because I've instructed you to. Subscribe because you are done being a prey animal in a world of predators.